We did understand that there was a conference call that would have incorporated all of the redemption centers, leaders and bank managers, at least bank managers throughout the country, the US. What was interesting was that there were two main things that they discussed on this conference call, one of which was that these currencies which we're exchanging, they are not a taxable event. It was designed to be way on purpose. Now, the income that you earn from interest being paid on your account in the bank, that interest is called passive income, and it will be taxed, but the event itself, the exchange of currencies, is not taxable. Question: is this our week? Marks: I'm hearing mixed signals on that. Some say it is our week and some say, not till after the 21st. Question: what do you think Iraq's time to allow international to exchange our notes? That's their prerogative. Normally when something like this happens, the IMF works with that central bank of that country and they figure out a time frame. It can be 3 months, 6 months. It can be a year. The United States of America never cancelled our 30 notes. America never stopped allowing 30 notes to be exchanged, but I got a feeling Iraq will, and they should. Al Nusayri explains the new mechanism for external transfers after the platform is closed. We have been following this and we have been spot on. They finally have done what was expected. This is to get the central bank back to normalcy, with international standards. That is a fact. A very good thing to have had correct all along. In our study of the Iraqi dinar, we know that Al-Sudani is going to be talking to Trump real quick here. Last time Trump was in office, they didn't make any changes, and what ended up happening was they had to devalue the dinar before the country went bankrupt. So this time around they might jump ahead of this and devalue the dinar ahead of time, so that the impact is not that hard against the Iraqi people and against Iraq if crude oil prices go down. Two of Iraq's most ambitious infrastructure projects, the Central Bank Tower in Baghdad and the Grand Al-Four port in Basra, have been recognized as some of the most significant mega-projects in the world for 2025. The projects ranked 11th and 10th by the renowned British platform the B1M. These achievements reflect not only Iraq's commitment to modernization but also its ambition to reclaim its place on the global stage as a hub for economic and cultural progress. I have talked to a couple Iraqi sources and they still believe this is it. They have contractors that they are in contact with that are suddenly being called in. I have one who will not tell me what the renegotiated rate is on their contracts. One of them mentioned $3.91, but I do not know for certain if that is really it. It's from a contact I don't know really well. British platform includes the Central Bank Tower and Al-Four port in the list of giant projects in the world for the year 2025. Iraq's 25 budget still in the works, with the government expected to send the budget tables to the council representatives in early February. The rate needs to change before that, guys. That's why I've been telling you you're in red-hot January. January is a critical month to our investment. You're going to see the new exchange rate before you see the budget. I understand the need for diplomacy, but Iraq needs to step back from Iran politically. Al-Sudani needs to be careful. Trump is going to come down hard on Iran, and I hope Iraq doesn't get in the way. I understand your view. We report what is in reality, and happening during a global event too. Like it or not, Iraq and Iran are linked. My bet is Iran is capitulating for a very big reason. The news is the news. We watch what happens and report it. No fear for the regime in Iraq as long as America and the religious authority are satisfied. The government is heading towards independence. Iraq must gain their independence not just on paper but in practical terms. Now that the Chapter 7 sanctions are released for over 2 years already, it is time. The next stage is full sovereignty promised to the Iraqi people during the second invasion in 2003. Yes, they still are not a free country until they get back their currency, which means to control their own wealth. Also, I want to mention, The CBI reserves are in the bank in New York. JP Morgan/Chase DFI fund amounting to over $120 billion. And so Iraq will also have to recover these funds too. The UN already decreed these funds should be returned to Iraq. We are watching this closely. Amidst talk of many government facilities to develop the investment sector in Iraq, the Parliament is moving towards making amendments to the investment law in order to keep pace with the need and solve the problems it suffers from after many years of its legislation. Investment Law No. 13 of 2006 consists of 37 articles divided into several axes and paragraphs that regulate investment work in all economic sectors within the country. Member of the Parliamentary Economic Investment Committee, MP Mohammed El-Ziadi, confirms that the amendment of the investment law came to consider many unclear points in the implementation of the law and the granting of investment licenses to unauthorized parties. The process of granting exceptions from the higher government committees in the Prime Ministry must also be re-corrected. Al-Ziadi said in a statement to Al-Maluma Agency, his committee submitted the amendments related to the investment law to the State Council to study them and then submit them to the House of Representatives to approve the amendments and return them to Parliament for the purpose of legislation. He said, the amendments to the investment law were made with the approval of the political blocs, and they are determined to amend the law during this year to be a unified investment law in the country. He added, the amendments to the investment law will abolish all investment bodies in ministries and governorates and abolish the method of exceptions, which will achieve positive results for citizens, in addition to eliminating corruption. He pointed out that the committee is seriously following up to urge the State Council to complete the study of the amendments and send them to the Council of Ministers for approval and submission to Parliament. It is noteworthy that the reasons for amending the investment law all come in light of the deterioration of the country's infrastructure and the spread of corruption in state institutions, whose population is close to 43 million people, while the government is looking to introduce the private sector into new investment experiences such as the energy sector and the health sector, in addition to new investment opportunities for integrated cities on the outskirts of the capital, that can attract hundreds of thousands of residents directly. For his part, the economic expert, Nabil Alali, confirms that, as many years have passed since the law was enacted, there is a need to make amendments with the change in the investment environment because it has begun to suffer from some weak points that must be reviewed, the most important of which is the issue of bureaucratic complexity represented by administrative approvals and their ramifications among state departments. As in each governorate there is an authority affiliated with the National Investment Commission in Baghdad.